You guys, when we talk about detox, it's something that is really going to be healthy for everyone. So detox therapies um, are the biggest things that you can do for detox. Is number one, we want to move. Like I know this is people are expecting, a sauna therapy, or a Epsom salt bath, a specific protocol for the body, and one of the first things, if you want to detox, move, exercise, biking, a treadmill. And of course, my favorite exercise for everything is walking. If we can walk at least to 2 miles a day, which sounds like a ton, it's actually pretty easy to walk 2 miles. Like if you're reasonably active and going in and out doing things, like you're going to get to 2 miles. I take literally almost 10,000 steps every day in my office. I put a pedometer on it. My average stride is just a hair under 3 feet. So let's just round it up. 3 times 10,000, that's 30,000 feet divided by 5,260. It's like about 5 miles. And so one of the things I recommend, just walk. And even better is just to walk for the purpose of walking. The other things that are really good for detoxification therapy is I do like intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is so healthy for people if you're on an 18/6 pathway, or an 18/6 means that you eat in a 6 hour window. For me, it works better to eat about 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. But there's also a consideration, you can eat between 10 and 4 or 12 and 6. And then the rest of the time, it's okay to have water intake. Water is obviously the best things for health, but getting your body on a cycle for that, I see really, really good outcomes with intermittent fasting. By the way, it's not just me making things up. Where I get this information is from one of my heroes, and you can pick this up on Amazon. He goes through all of the science and everything behind it. I have this book heavily highlighted in my home library. It's written by a nephrologist named Jason Fung that got tired of trying to put people's kidneys back together for diabetes. And so he wrote this series. Okay, here it is. Here is his book. Now he's got a couple of them, and they're by audiobook. They're great. Here it is. This is one of my very favorite books, The Complete Guide to Intermittent Fasting, Alternate Day or Extended Fasting. It's this book right here. This is, I think, essential for health. It's 7 years old, absolutely fantastic. You can get it digital for $9.99, an audiobook. He's got some other really good ones too. This Obesity Code, I think this is the best book I've ever read on weight loss. It's absolutely fantastic about everything how you believe in losing weight is wrong. And after reading the book, I believe it. Weight gain and obesity are driven by hormones in everyone. And by understanding the effects of insulin and insulin resistance, can we achieve lasting weight loss? Now, for people that are not looking for weight loss, it's how to have a healthy metabolism. Because if you have a healthy metabolism, like, you're really not going to go up, you're not going to go down, you're just going to stay level. So it has applications. You just want to be healthy. I love this book. He's got another one called The Diabetes Code. One that I really liked a lot, I'm going to take a lot of stuff out of it, is the Cancer Code right here. So obviously I'm a big fan. I think I have all of his books. The Diabetes Code, the Obesity Code. Now he comes in about cancer and metabolism. So the person that asked me, hey, what's the best detox? Let me kind of go through that. The best way to detox, one, is to move consistently. Walking's really good. Pedal bikes, elliptical bikes, biking is fantastic. Now, one of the best things that you can do besides walking, so walking's number one, is to do weight training, lift things. And it's specifically fantastic for the prevention of dementia, and it keeps your mind sharp. And it's not to bulk up. It's not to be a bodybuilder. It's just, you got to move those muscles. By the way, every time your muscles move, what happens is those muscles hit your lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes, that's where all the infection comes in from the body. So like, you have your white blood cells, they arrest the infection or the toxins or the poisons in your system, and they take them to the pathway to get rid of them. Where do they take them to? It's the jails of the body known as the lymph nodes. What drains the lymph nodes into the circulatory system that goes to the liver and the kidneys is skeletal muscle movement. So that's your biceps, that's your quads, that's your stomach, that's your back. If those are moving, it is squeezing those lymph nodes back into circulation, and then they don't get infection in them. And so it's just a really, really neat pathway or process to do. I love this book. Absolutely fantastic. The cancer code is really good. The obesity code, the diabetes code, the diabetics code, and also the complete guide to intermittent fasting. Now, there are some considerations for doing some advanced detox therapies by doing, saunas and what they call heat deprivation therapy, which is a wet sauna, an infrared sauna. I think those are really helpful. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the complete opposite for that system, which is the ice baths. If you guys have seen anything on Facebook or YouTube, doing, an ice bath for 2 minutes once a week, like you literally get a 540% increase in your dopamine. It increases exercise for all of the endothelial muscles, which surround the arteries and the veins of 26,000 miles of circulatory system when you do an ice bath. Now, it takes a lot of willpower to do it. And so I don't necessarily expect people to do it. Like, another consideration is just take progressively colder and colder showers, is another way to do the exercise. Now, some nutritional therapies to help detoxification. The best way to nutritionally support detoxification is to do an autophagy fast. Everybody asks me, what is an autophagy fast? An autophagy fast is something that we believe happens if you get your body into the state of catabolism. And what the state of catabolism is you start to use chemicals, poisons, and toxins as fuel sources because your body thinks that that's the only way to progress or move forward. This is all cutting edge research by not only Jason Fung, but another very famous gerontological researcher or an age researcher named Walter Vlongo. He's down in Southern California. And he literally believes we could erase autoimmune and most types of cancer within a generation if we could just get people to do a fast about every quarter. Now, this is not a religious fast. In some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder. What happens is if your body runs out of fuel, it will start using up one, stored energy or adipose tissue. Two, it's going to use old weak cells, chemicals, toxins, and infections. And what is the time for an autophagy fast? Now, everybody, just bear with me for a second and don't freak out. It's about 72 hours. Now, what does that mean? It means that you can have liquids, you can have electrolytes and pickle juice and some other things, but you're wanting to avoid solid foods for 3 days. Now, I've been able to do this a couple of times. I've done a 120-hour fast. So in my religious upbringing was when a fast is something that you don't eat or you don't drink for 24 hours. It's something in our religion we do once a month. And then there's always ways where I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna, eat the night before. I'm gonna skip breakfast and lunch the next day. But you don't eat or drink or anything. That's not what this type of fast is. This is just solid foods, and they encourage you to drink water and spring water and even electrolytes and take your vitamins and everything, but you don't want to eat anything for 72 hours. The first 24 hours is not so pleasant. I mean, you can make it. It's like the second 24 hours, you're like, man, I think I'm really distressed. I really need to eat something. The third 24 hours is when you start seeing amazing, I felt, emotional and spiritual and mental growth. The fourth 24 hours, I just start not having very much energy. I get really weak. And then it's a battle of, hey, which is stronger? Is it my mind or my body? And then the fifth one is for me, I just saw a significant increased hunger. Yes. But also just really put me on a nice spiritual plane. I've done this about 4 times. It's totally time to do another one. It's been a little bit, so I haven't done one for about a year, so I'm behind on doing these. That is the very best way to detox, to get your body really, really hungry. Now, in my opinion, the only way that you can do this is you have to know the science behind it, or you're not going to make it. So if you go through this, the complete guide to intermittent fasting, this really helps you to understand if you have the knowledge to do it, then it's possible. Like there's no way that I could do this if I didn't know, oh my gosh, we're going into programmed cell death. We're going into autophagy. I'm using up infections and processes in the body. Some other considerations for detoxification therapy is there is a company out of St. George, Utah. It's called Clark's uh, Mineral Oil. And they go to a Native American spring and they have this liquid that has some minerals in it and some bentonite and montmorillite clay. And it really has a little bit of silica in it. And I want to be careful, not silicone, but has some silica in it that really helps to be like a vacuum cleaner for your system. And I've had seen some really nice improvement for your stomach and your GI system using bentonite clay. By the way, you can get this easily through the internet, through Amazon. You can get bentonite clay and you can put about a tablespoon in a glass of water and you swirl around, you mix it up. It'll kind of turn orange and then you let it sit and all of the particulate will sit in the bottom. You'll have a little layer of a little clay at the bottom, but there'll be a lot of the minerals and the protective minerals in the system will be suspended in the water. And then you take a straw and you sip off the top part of the water, which is like if you put 8 ounces in it, you can get like 6 ounces of water. That was a trick that one of my dad's doctor friends taught me years ago doing that detoxification. I love apple cider vinegar. I think activated charcoal is really good. There's multiple packs that you can use for detoxification. But I honestly think the best way to do it is to get really hungry, also do or use heat deprivation therapy. A sauna would be a really nice consideration. Getting yourself to sweat for 30 minutes every single day is really good. Whatever activity or activities, put that together. Those are all really nice ways uh, to detox. Now, some of the things that I don't like detox, there's a couple. I always want people to be careful with the gallbladder detox because I've seen some crises that come out of the gallbladder detox. Is you do a short period of fasting somewhere between 6 and 12 hours, then you drink some apple juice, a glass of them. I'm paraphrasing it. And then what you want to do is you want to drink a glass of um, purified, uh, not purified, cold pressed olive oil. And so between the combination of the apple juice and the olive oil, you can get your liver gallbladder system to contract and have literally a bile dump. The reason why I tell people to become careful with it is sometimes people have, quote, normal gallstones in their body. And if you do an aggressive apple cider vinegar, apple juice and olive oil, sometimes I've seen some people, and it's probably been 4 or 5 people over 23 years. So does it happen very often? It doesn't. But the stone gets stuck in the ampulla vator, which is the connection between the gallbladder and the liver. It comes down in basically into the common bile duct, and then the stones get stuck, and then it's a gallbladder crisis, and they'll have to get their gallbladder out. So I don't really like that pathway. If you're having gallbladder concerns and you're asking at a detox therapy, the way to do that is to use bile salts. Ox bile is a really good one. It thins down the viscosity of the bile, and it really helps to gently like kind of dissolve those stones. Another really good gallbladder stone emulsifier is something called disodium phosphate, which you have to drink with a lot of water, but it gets in solution and it's really it's powerful. So some ideas on how to detox. I think I've pretty much covered the main ones. I also like to do acupuncture points on spleen 6, which we call unwelcome house guests. That is the very best way to detox.